Okay, so let's just start with a few Bible quotes. Genesis 1:14, just to get people over the fact that astronomy is not evil. It literally says it all over the Bible. It says, and God said, let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years, and let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth. And it was so. So again, they were created to give us signs and signals in heaven. Psalm 19 is one of my favorites. I feel like it is exactly the times. It says, the heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day, they pour forth speech. Night after night, they reveal knowledge. They have no speech. They have no words. No sound is heard from them, yet their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. So again, it says that the firmament would showeth his handiwork. The bridegroom would come out of his chamber to celebrate, a champion to run the race. What kind of a race? Maybe a presidential race. Who's the bridegroom? And what is this tabernacle that they're talking about, right? So these are questions that I was asking as I was trying to sort of solve the mystery. One more quote here. Luke 21, this is talking about the end times. So this is a recount of what Jesus was saying to the apostles about the end time prophecy. He says, there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. Think maritime and admiralty law. People will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken. And at that time, they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to take place, stand up, lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The redemption is very near. And this has been the time of judgment. Again, I'm not going to go into all these. I just want to tell people, Hollywood has made us think that this apocalypse is like the end of the world. No. Apocalypse means an unveiling or an unfolding of things not previously known. The revelation, I always say conspiracies are only theories until they become revelations.
Right.
We're in a time of revelation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and even the tribulation talks about worldwide hardships and the persecution, disasters, famine, war, pain, and suffering. You know, it all affects creation, and it precedes the judgment for all. And a rapture is not a bad thing. Again, a rapture means a mystical experience in which the spirit is exalted to a knowledge of divine things.
Well, geez, doesn't that change the interpretation of what people think the rapture is?
Miki, is there any chance of any of this being self-fulfilling, meaning that we're actually, we're self-prophesizing this?
Absolutely. Everything is a self-prophecy because you choose where you go in this realm. It's a free will realm. You can go up the ladder, you can stay down. You can wait till everyone else does. But to me, the rapture really is becoming aware that there's a 5D aspect of us, that we are multidimensional beings and that you can operate in any dimension, even though you operate in the 3D now. Does that make sense?
That is the best interpretation of the rapture that I have heard yet.
And I do.
It's very good.
And that was just great how you, and so simplistic how you did say that about how we can operate multidimensionally. Even though we're in a 3D, we can operate multidimensionally because there's this big sale of this big, event, if you would, or things that may happen in life that you have to go through before you can then get to like level up to a 5D, maybe the great escape of this planet, if you would, or whatever that may be, or great escape of consciousness. But that's not how you see it. Is that correct?
I believe you're always in the 5D, 3D, and multiple dimension. Dimension just means perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So you're living in multiple dimensions. And if you choose to watch from the perspective of the 5D, where you do not have to operate through the soul, the mind, will, and emotion. Mm-hmm. So again, this is another way they kept us stuck. Not only do they use these words, but they make you think it's the body, mind, soul. It's not. It's the body, soul, spirit. So the soul is the mind, will, and emotion, the 666. And it's not a bad thing. It's just been controlled.
Mm-hmm.
In the spirit is the 5D. So in spirit is where you learn to see things outside of the mind. And then the temple, or the body temple, tells you the information you need to know to unwind the past. And all the secrets of the universe really are in that trinity, that I call it the body, the soul, the spirit. And if we understand that better, I think it would unlock so many doors for people.
Agreed.
I want to go a little bit deeper if I can with you on that one, because as we go through this, so you talked about the soul, 666, obviously 666 on a space surface. You said it's not a bad thing. Can you explain to us why, for people watching this right now, that when they initially hear the 666, they automatically think it's a bad thing, why you're interpreting it as not necessarily a bad thing?
Well, there's nothing that's bad. It's just been manipulated and used against us, right? So you have the 666, which comes to 18, and the 369, which comes to 18. So it doesn't really matter how you look at it. It's all just, it's just a matter of, if you're in spiritual alignment and you've mastered your mind, will, and emotion, and you know the processor of the mind and how to rewrite the processor of the mind so that you can't be mind controlled. And you know the will is always there. It's always your free will. It's a free will realm. Everything is based on will. And that the emotion calls upon the mind, will, and emotion. Everything is driven by your emotions. So if you choose first to have an emotion about it, then you can more easily manifest it. It's just about mastering the 666.
So we got a body, right? We got that part check. And then we have the spirit, which is inside us, right? And then, so the spirit, but then the soul. So then this is where I think trips people up somewhat here. Can you help us clarify this one? So the soul, Miki, then does that, and I don't want to say away from us, but is it not necessarily like people think, okay, my soul is inside my body. Is the soul inside the physical body, or is it someplace else?
I think it is. For me, it's the processor and the will that controls the processor. But the 5D is the spirit, and all things are led by the spirit. Think of the spirit as being the puppet master. Where the spirit goes, the mind, will, and emotion goes. Where the spirit goes, the body goes. So when you operate from the 5D, which is pure love, pure joy, pure bliss, right? And you don't have an opinion through the processor, through the mind control. So the way I connect to my spirit is through visualization, meditation, visualization. Where is my spirit today? You know, I set my inner child free over the years, and then she evolved into this cool golden angel. And then she was always way smarter than me when I was dealing with problems. She was way calmer, way smarter. And I was like, how do I just become you? And then eventually she became a light being. So in the light, nothing can stick in her, like arrows. It just, it's all just light.
Like rubber, everything bounces off, and you're just not affected.
Yeah.
I do love the mind being the processor. And I think if more people associate the mind with literally the processor, I think it'll help being able to control it much better.
Totally. And I look at it like this. You can program your processor at any time, change your variables. What comes in must come out, right? So the information comes in, you process it, and you move it back out. You interpret. And so your words are part of that interpretation, your lexicon, your gematria, your DNA is part of that lexicon, because the DNA creates the cell. And so the cell is the output of the DNA. You know what I'm saying? And if you learn to unwind the body and you learn to manifest something different, you actually change your DNA, you change your blood, you change everything. So again, I like to go straight to the 5D, because the 5D rules the mind. The mind rules the body, but the emotion rules the mind. So that's why it's cool to know how the soul works. Do you know what I mean? Like, and if we understood how to just lay that stuff out, I think it would really simplify things for a lot of people. But it's intuition, and you can almost say that the spirit comes through the subconscious, because it's just pure intuition. It's a dream state. You go in and you just trust. If you start trusting your intuition, and then you just observe it without judgment. Okay, where is my spirit today?
That's the key. What you just said is truly the key. If you observe it without judgment, that is the key, which is the hardest thing for people, because people are so easily triggered.
You wouldn't want to be here if it was too easy. Okay, life would get boring. Right. It doesn't matter where you are, you're exactly where you're meant to be. So just start there. You know what I mean? Like I get bored easy. So I enjoy the newness of every morning and every day. And I really, now I'm just in such a state of gratitude for the fact that we're being given a new life. I mean, we're being given freedom, like true freedom we never had before, to express ourselves, to have these conversations, to post them on, you know, channels and stuff like that. I mean, come on, if Rumble and BitChute weren't still there, we'd be losing the war. This is a World War III. They would have taken those companies out a long time ago. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I feel like once you enter into that state of gratitude and non-judgment of the 5D, and you know the 5D rules, you know, the mind, will, and emotion, then everything will just follow when you set your intention of the 5D.
So let me throw this one at you.
It's all coming from love.
So, okay, so when you hear, for example, and then again, this is just for the benefit of people watching here so they can really wrap their head around this. So when you hear, for example, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, what you're saying is it's here, it's here, it's here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, again, it's coming would imply you're not in complete control of your reality. So do you want to be in control, or do you want to be flopping around like some dummy? You know, I just joke about that. Like, you know, that thing that like blows at the supermarket, and he's like, yeah, it's all over the place. Like I prefer to find my own wind versus, you know what I mean? Like, just because that way I know I'm taking charge. And until we all start getting into a state of accountability, but at the same time, it's like catch-22, because there's no way we would have won this war without the military and without that intervention. But a lot of people just, if they go within right now and they start trusting that their 5D is part of the creation, and that the 5D will be reigning in the new realm, you can go into whatever, literally wherever you can expand your mind right now, expand your thinking, it will be made available to you. Whether you're buying foreign currencies, you want to get involved in a you know, humanitarian effort, or if you just want to do your own work and, you know, take care of your own family, or start just growing food in the backyard, you know what I mean? Whatever you feel drawn to do, it's time to let go of the control system and do it without judgment.
And it is such a
and enjoy doing it.
And it is such a magical time that you can do that, because I get you and what you're saying there. I do get you, like, because you can do these things. You can like manifest these. Yeah, foreign currency is your thing. I mean, maybe not the way you may see, whatever, but you can manifest some form of that coming to you, or the result of that, I guess, right?
The resets.
We're reconnecting the right and the left hemisphere too. So again, we've been so blocked off from the right. The right is the creation. So it's the start of the 5D, the visualization, then the trigger of an idea, then the thought. And then once the thought comes, then you verbalize it, you put it into the realm. Then you're kind of entering into that middle zone where you start to do the action. When the action creates the process, and the procedure end up creating the reality. So the thing is, we've all been so stuck in the reality and the process and the procedure, and this is just how things are done for so long. You almost have to learn to be a visionary now. You have to learn to get into the creative, learn to paint, learn to draw, you know, open your mind to what's possible. So it's scary for those who are not visionaries, maybe.
You know, it's so interesting that you said that today, because I was thinking this today with the school systems, all of the school system. There's virtually none, such a small emphasis on the creative mind. Like, you might take one art class a week if you're lucky, and maybe one shop class, even if they still exist, and everything else is that indoctrinated thought pattern of the way that they think that you should be taught.
Totally. It's definitely not healthy. It's a prison camp. And the noise and the bells and the standing in line and the rewards for doing as you're told, and the ADHD and the over, you know, medication. It's sad. It's sad. It's like, how about you just admit school's boring? You're putting them in a prison camp. They do not have ADHD.
Right.
They have energy.
Right. Yeah, but you know,
energy.
You're right. You know, I tell you, it's interesting, because if you know, I know more and more people. We've had some people on our show that are opening up these alternative schools, and maybe you manifest that these alternative schools become a normal now for people. You know what I mean? Versus like like you got to kind of keep it underground. You know, I want to get back to a couple of things you said, which if you could help clarity on, because I've never really clearly understood the definition of this myself. Gematria. Can you give me the two-year-old version of that?
comes my daughter, Kelly Garvey. She says, excuse me.
It's all right.
She says to me, Mom, I'm feeling great. I got a direction in life. You got to do this. Follow me. So here comes Asia.